Hi guys, welcome back to Uncomfortable Chats. What has been going on this week? What is new? Obviously, we posted the episode 5 Sunday last week while I was in Ibiza. Anyone that's been following me on socials knows that I went, and funny enough, I went with my girl and my nephew, and it was needed. And I needed that break. But we're officially on episode 6 now, which is very exciting. I think I am definitely smiling cheek to cheek right now, which is why I've had to record this 3 times because I'm biting my words. But whether or not I bite my words on this next one, I can't be bothered to try to record it because I already got into 2 minutes on the last one. I was biting my words and I had to pause it and then start this one. So yeah, we're not doing that. Whether or not I bite my words on this one, you guys have been following me long enough that you know. It's also a Saturday. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. My week has been one thing after another. So yeah, but hopefully everyone's good and I appreciate everyone. We are officially on nearly 400 on TikTok in 45 days with 80k views. And then YouTube, we're sitting on 80 subscribers. That's the word I was biting my words trying to say, 80 subscribers. And I think it's something like 20k views in total. So it's incredible and I appreciate it. And obviously the Instagram I'm not pushing too much because I don't know, there's a mental barrier in my head, and I understand why there is a mental barrier. I also understand what that mental barrier is. I just now need to overcome it. Because as we all know, when you reflect and you analyze things and you also look into yourself and you map it all out, you can pinpoint why things are the way they are and try to understand things better. And I understand why I'm procrastinating on it. I just need to do it. So I will. But anyways, before we officially get started on episode 6 and get into everything, I just want to say a big thank you. And then have a drink of water because my mouth is now getting dry because I need to drink something. So no more coffee, like I said before. We're having orange juice and a bit of water. And how many days has it been now? It's been nearly just over a week before I've had coffee. Obviously I've had 2 coffees, but I'm not really counting them because the 2 coffees I had, one was on Ibiza. Obviously we're moving around and walking, but it was a small little coffee, tiny, don't really count it. And then the other one was on Monday on bank holiday when I had it with my girl. And that was nice, but we were again walking. So the energy I was getting from the coffee and I was using up. I'm not going to get into the science side of what coffee does. We're not doing that. It's a Saturday. It's currently 3 o'clock and I ain't got energy. So yeah. Also, I was on the phone to my girl, who's also my client, who anyone that follows me on my socials, I post her quite a lot because I'm in awe of her transformation because she's fucking doing incredible. Genuinely, the before and after, beautiful. And I'm so proud. So we were on the phone for an hour. So I think now my brain is even though it was all stimulated and I was awake, I'm now okay, I'm sat down, I'm relaxed. And I'm no, Hunter, you need to film this episode. And I was okay. So anyways, I feel tired, but it's okay. It's not tiredness necessarily. It's just, this takes a lot of energy, right? It takes a lot of energy for me to sit here and talk about things and also just be in the right space. That makes sense. I don't know. Anyways, to go off from the last episode, we obviously talked about the bullying, the bullshit that I went through in my first school in the UK before I went to 6th form. Obviously, there's a lot of shit that happened in between that. So we kind of need to dive into that because it's all relevant, it's all important. And before I even ended up doing my GCSEs or getting to the point where I was actually studying for it properly, there's a lot of shit that happened in between. And I feel sometimes it's just a blur. And I was speaking to my girl. I went to her house the other day to see her and her son. A lovely night. Honestly, it was beautiful. And we were having this conversation about trauma and how she even knows, like, with her brain, like, certain things, like, she can't remember this specific film because it's associated with trauma that happened, right? It doesn't matter how many times she watches it. And I said to her, like, with me, I can't even remember I don't even think about my trip to Thailand because it's associated with my ex. So, like, I'm the type of person, which I've realized my brain does this, to protect me from traumatic experiences, or when I let go of people in my life, this could be family, friends, or anything attached to it, I kind of disassociate all my experiences around that person, even if it was an amazing experience, because my brain just goes into protection mode and I just put it in my subconscious. And I know everything that happened. I can remember everything if I really, like, want to think about it. But, like, it's not, like, I have to actually make the choice, the conscious decision to think about it. If that makes sense. So I'm very good at blocking things out. And I was saying to her that, like, sometimes I wish I could remember everything in detail. And she obviously asked why I would want that. And I said, because sometimes I think that I'm crazy, because it's like the person I am now versus the person I was. Also the things that I went through, like, it's insane. Like, genuinely. So sometimes it's, I don't know if it's because I'm so numb to a lot of things that I want to not necessarily feel these things again, but it's like I really want to understand the person I was even more than I understood her now. Because another point, when I was speaking to my client, not just my client, she's also my best friend now, like, the close circle I have, like, of people around me, I'm truly blessed for. But this point of, it's her anniversary, and long story short, of her being in this country now, like, when she looks back the past 3 summers, she doesn't recognize the person she used to be. And I understand that feeling, because I look back at my life and I look at the person, like, pictures of myself, and I'm like, I know that person, I know that girl, and I know exactly what she was going through, but I don't necessarily, like, I'm completely different now. I've always had the same, like, morals, values, love, kindness, like, certain things haven't changed about me. And some people that know me will be like, you've never really changed. You've just become more specific about certain things, or boundaries, or this or that. Like, my personality hasn't necessarily changed, but I feel like I'm a different person because of my experiences have shaped me to allow me to become an even better person for myself, right? And I think that's very important, to allow your experiences to help shape you to become a better person, because I don't necessarily believe any experience in life is a bad experience. Like, it's something that you will always take from it and you will learn. Like, we can learn from everything. It doesn't matter how fucked up it could be, right? Because we go to the extreme of the spectrum where it's like this and this and this fucked up things happen to you. Like, it should never happen to you. But then we also go to, like, other things where it's like, oh, you stubbed your toe. Do you know what I mean? Like, something, why did you stub your toe? Well, maybe because you weren't walking in the right direction. You weren't looking where you were going. Next time, look down. Do you know what I mean? Like, the extreme versus, like, not so extreme. So it's measuring, like, all of these experiences. What I've had to do is just be like, it doesn't matter what it was or what it is. It's something that I can take from it, no matter what. And this is why, like, I would never change anything I've been through. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I won't be hypnotized and really, like, embody those feelings. Because I'm so numb to things that I'm like, oh, like, not now necessarily, like, my experiences and my love towards people, but, like, I would love to, I think, just understand the little girl inside me more. Because as we grow up, like, it's a constant learning journey. Like, there's never a stupid question. There's never a point where we stop learning and, like, we stop healing, we stop reprogramming or unprogramming, like, behaviors or traits or things. Like, there's no perfect way to be, essentially, right? if we look at everything just as a whole, like society will tell you have to be this way, but then how you feel about this is that way. Another example, I was speaking to my client, and I love her to bits, yesterday when I was training her. And we were having a conversation, and then obviously the conversation developed. And then I said to her, when is there ever a time, do you personally feel like, because there's a time to defend yourself, that context, like we were talking about when you defend yourself. When someone said something or has stabbed you in the back, is there always a time where you should defend yourself, or is there a time where you should kind of measure up the situation and kind of be like, is this worth my time? So then we were talking, and then I kind of asked the question where I was like, well, I asked the question, so when do you think there's a right time to stand up for yourself and a right time to be like, you know what, this isn't worth my time? Because it doesn't matter what I say, me trying to defend myself isn't going to change the situation. It's not going to change the way this person thinks about me. Furthermore, I now know this person thinks this way about me. I'm not going to go and change it. Do you know what I mean? So there's different circumstances and reasons, and depending on the circumstances of why you will defend yourself. But also there's the just side of things where it's like, oh, I want to be justice. Why am I not speaking English properly? Justful. Maybe, is that the word? I don't know. Anyways. Like you want to hold yourself up, and you also want to defend yourself. So when is the right time and when there isn't? Do you know what I mean? So it's very interesting, because when you're someone who focuses on peace for yourself, so inner peace, but also a peaceful environment, but also you have boundaries, you have standards for yourself which you hold for yourself, not because it's like, oh, I have high standards. No, it's just you have certain standards for yourself because you wouldn't do this to someone, so you wouldn't accept them doing it to you, etc. So then when would you defend yourself? When would you hold someone accountable? Do you get what I mean? Like there's obviously different situations which you measure depending on if it's worth it, if it's not. But it's quite interesting. So like, yeah, I think I'm just now as a person, whereas I'm constantly growing and healing and developing, reprogramming, unprogramming, I'm constantly looking at situations and evaluating them. Is this worth my time? Is it not worth my time? Should I have this person in my life? Should I not have this person in my life? Should I be doing this? Should I not be doing this? Like measuring things. And certain things, like, I don't know, which I was previously doing, I could never imagine myself doing now. Like working in a corporate space now, I can never imagine, because I've allowed myself to be free enough to be able to trust myself, to be able to build whatever I want to build in order to give myself freedom. And I've always spoken about previously in the past that I want to have financial freedom, but I think I misunderstood what that meant and why I wanted it. I wanted financial freedom not because I wanted the finance from it, but I wanted time, because time is the most expensive thing you can never buy back. You can never buy it back. So how I spend my days now and what I do with my time now naturally will bring me revenue, because I'm doing things that are going to make me money, but I'm doing things that make me happy. But also, if I don't want to do these things, I don't have to do them. Like Uncomfortable Chats, I don't have to do this. I want to do this. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a little girl. Like, and I'll get into the study and like the foster care situation, all of that soon. But the reason why this is also relevant is because when I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Always wanted to be a lawyer. Like, as I got older, I always wanted to be the voice for people that couldn't speak, and I wanted to defend people. So I wanted to be that. I wanted to do TED Talks. I wanted to do spoken word. I wanted to do these things because I wanted to be the voice, and also show people that, no, like, stand up for yourself. Be who you are unapologetically. And certain things are not acceptable. And then obviously life happens, and I wasn't able to pursue those things as much as I did everything in my power at the ages that I was in order for me to do it. It didn't happen. So then what did I come up with? Uncomfortable Chats. But there's a lot of reasons why I've like developed Uncomfortable Chats. Like I said previously, like, I don't take this shit lightly. Like, I got the tattoo on my wrist and I've had this for years. Like, and it's a cover up for my first tattoo when I was younger. And yeah, like, for me to be starting it now is incredible. But what is also important to acknowledge is that when starting something like this, it's scary, but it's fulfilling. But anyways, I'm literally just chatting hella shit now, and we're 15 minutes in, and I do apologize. But anyways, the whole point is, there isn't necessarily a point, but nothing is going to be straightforward. Nothing you do. I feel like there's always going to be like different roads that you can take, but for some reason I always pick the longest one. I always pick the hardest and longest ones. I don't know, maybe it's because I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to progress in life, I want to learn. And because of how much I want to understand myself and love myself and take care of myself and treat myself and then do that for others around me, I just can't be around people who aren't on that same level, because I always try to lift them up with me and then get burnt. And that's life. And the thing is, I say a lot of things, right, which I know who I am, I know how I feel about things, I know why certain people do this or why this happens, or I understand why things happen or why there's a certain cycle in life, right? But what's quite interesting is that even though I understand it and I can predict certain things based on behaviors and psychology and be like, I'm not a fucking mind reader, but like, if you can see this and this are lining up for this to happen, like, you'd be stupid to fucking be like, oh, I don't think that's gonna happen. No, there's only 3 options. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always analyze situations. So when I'm in certain situations and I'm looking at a situation going, okay, Hunter, you're feeling like this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, also that and that, also this person, that person, this and this and this happened. Where do you put your energy? Because if you then put your energy into this and this is going to take priority. If you then go do that, that's going to take priority, but is that something you want to do, or do you want to do that? So I'm always looking at things from a perspective of like my time, and I think that's what I love about what I do now, but also the amount of people that I have in my life. Very small circle, so I distribute my time to the people that I want to distribute my time to, and then the clients that I train, I love to bits. Me doing this is incredible because it's something I've always wanted to do, and it's also helped me understand the little girl inside me more, because I'm able to speak. And whether or not like people that I've watched this have gone through things that are similar to me or they haven't, I actually don't care. But what I do care about is that it's received by the people that need to hear this and need to hear these things, because it's not easy, and no one in life, like, anyone that tells you life is easy has fucking got it wrong, mate. It's got it wrong. But I'm never gonna tell people like life is easy. It's always gonna be hard. But the beauty of life is that you can always keep moving forward. And I think with Uncomfortable Chats and where we're at now with Uncomfortable Chats, it's beautiful because I'm getting messages from people telling me that they've listened to Uncomfortable Chats and they were in this sort of state in their mind, or they were feeling like this, or they felt like that, and it's helped them and it makes them feel seen or understood, and it's helping them process something that they've never thought about, or something they had gone through that they haven't faced for a long time, and now they want to face it because they can see that, okay, as an example. And I've always said, if you want to make a change in this world, you have to be the example. And for me, being the example, it's rewarding. It feels amazing because, like, I've always said, like, there's too much selfish people in this world, and I understand there's a level of selfishness which is you have to have, right? And I wouldn't necessarily say it's selfishness, but it's more like boundaries, right? And at the end of the day, when it comes to kindness, it's free. is free. And like I said in my previous episode, I think it was episode 4, that like what my uncle had done for me, for example, like showing me that genuine love and kindness, and was able to show me like a masculine energy that just was love, genuine love, unconditioned. Like, you don't have to do that, but that was kindness. Like, no one has to be kind, but you know what? It feels incredible. If someone cuts you off on the road, or someone like barges you, says, oh, sorry. It literally takes one little word. One word. And then it's, oh, that person didn't mean to. That's all right. Like, you just need, like, kindness is free. It's genuinely it's so free. And like, even like, for example, the guy at Tesco's that I see all the time, he always says, oh, Hunter, how are you? How's everything? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? How's this? How's that? I haven't seen you in a while. Like, that nice exchange, like, it's nice. Or if like, for example, the guy that works at Donut Time, and like one time gave me, like, it was end of day, gave me a whole box of donuts, and I've come in and instead of taking that back home, I've come in and be like, here guys, donuts. Like, for everyone that works at the gym. Like, kindness is free. Putting a smile on someone's face is free. And it doesn't cost you anything, honestly. And if it does cost you something, that's different. You should never compromise your own happiness for others. Like, that's something I would never agree to. But yeah, this is getting deep, and I need to get into episode. And I want to start making these episodes a little bit shorter. So obviously I know they're about 55 minutes, and I know it's a lot, and I know some people are struggling to watch them. So I'm considering I'm cutting them to about 35, 40 minutes. So it's easier. So if you're on the train, or if you're at home cleaning, or like ways that you can listen to this and watch this, so you can still enjoy it, but you don't necessarily like have to sit down for an hour, because I understand it's people's time, and like I said, time is money. Like, you can't get it back. It's the most expensive thing. So the fact that people are giving me their time, I appreciate it, and it says a lot. So yeah, on to the episode now, and to go into the story time. So where did I finish off? All right, so Bethany Green Academy school. Obviously, all that bullshit happened in my school, and then I'm trying to pinpoint it. So I don't know the day, I don't know when it happened. Wait, sorry. Okay, let me get comfortable. See my body. I'm training a lot right now, and everything's tight. Not necessarily my clothes, but it's just my body is just tight. Okay, so at the school, and I remember coming back one day, or no, sorry, it was on the weekend, and long story short, I was in my room, and I did have a snake at this point, right? I don't know what happened to my snake, but I had a snake. I had a Burmese python. Anyone that knows me knows I love animals. Also, anyone that watches these episodes knows I love animals. But I love reptiles. Like, I have an unspoken love for them because they're misunderstood, especially snakes. Whether anyone says anything about it, listen, for me, it's an animal, and it's just misunderstood. So yeah. Anyways, so I was at home in my room, just got out of the shower, and me and my biological mom had gotten into an argument. This is what it was. So we had gotten in an argument, I think it was the day before, because my little sister had expressed that my mom's boyfriend at the time kept going up behind her and like grabbing her neck. And bear in mind, like in other episodes, I would have expressed why we don't like to be touched on our neck. Obviously, it's something I've really worked on to like get comfortable with anyone touching my neck or anything being on my neck, or like, but yeah, for her it was still very much a trigger. And obviously, like, he kept going behind her and like grabbing her behind the neck, and it made her feel uncomfortable and she didn't like it. So then I had an argument with my biological mom because I was telling her, like, why is he doing that? Like, he needs to stop. Like, he's making me and Taylor feel uncomfortable. I expressed to her, like, the comment he had previously made, because this is the boyfriend, if anyone remembers, the house that when we came to this country, also we were in Chelsea places, then we got moved to Edgware Road, and the Edgware Road house was the one with my mom's guy friend, and we were staying in his flat and we were on the sofa, and then we had the flatmate, the guy, the one that made a comment about my chest. So if you're still up to date with everything that's going on in the, I think that was the third or fourth episode, and I was explaining all of that. So this is that guy. So she ended up having that guy as her boyfriend. Then two got together, and obviously he was a cross-dresser, fucking weirdo. Like, not because he's a cross-dresser, he's just fucking weirdo. Because why are you going behind children and grabbing them behind their neck and like shaking them slightly? What the fuck are you doing? It's just fucking weird. Also, we're grown. We're like teenage girls. Don't be touching us. You don't even know us. But anyways, so me and her got in an argument, and then from there, it was like the next day he was at the house, and he was staying at the house basically all the time. He's basically moved in at this point. And I just got out of the shower, and then she's come in and said, oh, we're all going bowling. Bear in mind, just came out of the shower. I literally have a towel on, so I haven't even gotten dressed properly yet. So I'm like, can you get out type of thing. I didn't even say that. What did I say? All right, so I remember. So she's come into the bedroom, and then she basically said, we're all going bowling. And I said, I didn't want to go. And then she said, well, you're going. And then, because basically it was giving, oh, I want to be happy family vibes. Like, no, we're not happy family. Like, let's please. Like, it's not like that. Like, you're going to make me go and do this happy family, like, and participate. And I don't want to. Like, with all the shit that you already have going on, already have happening, like, now you're going to put me through this with this guy who I don't like, and with my little sister who feels uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. Like, that's it. Anyways, told her I didn't want to go, and asked if I could stay there, and then she was like, no. And then she walked out of the bedroom, and then basically a few minutes later he's walked in. Now when he's walked in, I just about gotten like my bra on, and I can't remember if I just about was like putting my top on, but all I remember was that I basically just finished getting dressed, and he said, you're going bowling. And I said, no, I'm not. And then he said, yes, you are. And I said, no, I'm not. And then he's grabbed my wrist. So he's grabbed I think it was my right arm on my wrist. And I said, I'm not going. So then I've tried to pull back from him holding my arm, and I've told him to let go of me. Didn't let go of me. He's pulled me closer. When he's pulled me closer, he's basically pulled me into his body, and then we just started fighting. Bear in mind, this man is 6 foot. I think he's like 6'4", big South African man. And then, long story short, all I remember was him having me in a headlock, and then like him like kind of bending me. So like he's got me in a headlock, and then I'm kind of like bent, so I'm like kind of crawled up, and me and him are fighting. I'm trying to punch him, trying to hit him, trying to get out of it. Well, obviously he's got me in a headlock. There's not much I can do. And obviously my body is facing towards the door, and his back, well, his chest is over my back. So then I then feel my mom, like she's shouting, she's screaming. She then jumps on top, and she's also starting to hit me. So now I've got both of them on top of me. So then, because of how my neck was bent, the only place I could reach to was his leg. So long story short, at that point, I saw an opportunity, and I basically just bit him, and I bit a chunk. Apparently I bit a chunk out of his leg. I don't know how big, I don't know how small, I don't know. But bit his leg, and once I bit his leg, he's let go of me, and then I've ran to the door, and I've grabbed the door, and I've ran down the stairs. So we were at the top floor, so I've run down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flights of stairs, no shoes on, just bolted, and I've hid. So where the downstairs was, at the bottom of the stairs, there was another room behind, and there was two massive bins, like in this room. And then you had the other entrance was going out to the front door to like leave the building. So then I've gone and I've hid behind the bin, and I'm sat there curled up, just hiding behind this bin. And I hear the door opening, shouting, screaming. I hear someone walk down the stairs, and I think it was him. And then he's walked down the stairs. All I heard was the door open and then close, and then him walk back up the stairs. And he's walked back up the stairs, doors closed, and I didn't hear anything for hours. So I've just sat there and I've just hid. So I don't know after how long, I must have sat there for at least 2 hours, I don't know. But I sat there just hiding. And at that point, I was like, okay, I need to bolt. I need to make a run for it. But I knew where the window was from the top of the flat, from the living room. It faced the front, like the front of the street, where I would have had to run out. So she would have seen me run out. And where my friend's house was at the time, in Shadwell, because we were down this road, but Shadwell was like a few minutes walk across. So I would have had to run out in front of the window where she would have seen me, and she would have saw where I would have ran to, because that direction, there's only one other place I would have gone. So then, I don't know how long I was down there for. I don't know why I keep burping. This is really annoying. I don't know why I have air in my belly. I don't know. Anyways, so then eventually I was like, cool, I need to bolt. So I've come out from outside of the bin, and then I've gone to where the front door is, and I've basically just bolted, and then ran all the way to my friend's house. By the time I got to my friend's house, bear in mind I'm running barefoot through fucking Shadwell. Honestly, hilarious. And because obviously we lived in the area for enough time, obviously people recognize me, and I'm just literally bolting down this sidewalk. Got to my friend's house, knocking on the door, boom, 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 boom. Now, all I remember was her mom. I can't remember if it was her or her mom that answered the door, but one of them answered the door. And obviously I hadn't seen myself. There was no mirror. Obviously I had bruises and marks all down my neck, and like the side of my face from him, and my arm, my wrist. So answer the door, and this is where it kind of goes blurry, because I'm trying to remember. So all I remember was her basically telling me that she couldn't let me in, and I was speaking to my best friend at the time, but like she let me in, and we were talking, and she was like, oh, your mom's calling. She's basically threatened to call the police, and basically like, I can't keep you here, so you have to go. And I said, I'm not going back. I can't go back. And she's like, I can't keep you here. She's calling the police. Like, you can stay for a little bit, but you have to go. So I got some shoes off my friend, and then, yeah. So then from there, and this is the part of the story where I've never really told, where it is, funny enough, my uncle was at the house. So the reason why he was even at the house was because he was there. He became friends with the mom as well, and like would help out, etc. Like tech stuff, because he does tech. So then I've had to leave the house because she couldn't keep me there. So then that day, obviously I saw him, but I had to be on my own. So then, long story short, stayed out that entire night, and then the next morning, all I remember was trying to call social services, and like, it's genuinely a blur. Like, I can't, like, I'm trying to remember and I'm struggling. God, somehow, I can't remember how I got in touch with social services. I don't know if it's because I called the police or what happened, but it's just like, it's genuinely a blur, and I don't understand why. Like, I can't remember. I remember somehow getting in contact with social services, and then from there, that day, they took me to the hospital, and I just remember being in this room. The room was dark, and they had these big lights, and they were taking pictures of all the bruises around my neck, around my chest, around my wrist, like side of my face. And basically, he was gonna press charges. So the mom's boyfriend was gonna press charges against me because I bit a chunk out of his leg. Let alone you fucking bruised up my whole fucking body. And I was defending myself. So technically it's self-fucking defense. But yeah, obviously I was smart enough to be like, no, it's self-defense. Like, he came at me, he attacked me. But yeah, so I remember taking the photos, and then the police speaking to me and me speaking to my social worker. Funny enough, like, I still speak to my social worker to this day. Like, honestly, she's an angel. And then basically not being able to find a placement for me, and then telling me that they have to put me back with my biological mom. But obviously he's not gonna be there. And I was like, nope, 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 I'm not going back, I'm not going back, I'm not going back, I'm not going back. I refuse to go back. But then they were like, there's nowhere else you can go, no one else is gonna take you. Just go back for one day. And my social worker at the time, obviously I'm very close with her even now, they were like, well, she was at Hunter, like, just go back and I promise you I'll get you out. I'll promise you. I'll get you out. So I believed her and I trusted her to help me. And then this is where I broke the silence of everything I've been through. Everything I'm telling you guys now as a kid, I didn't speak about when I was younger. I held it all in, didn't talk about it. And then she was the first person I broke my silence to. Her and my uncle, where I was telling everything that had been happening and begging and pleading not to send me back. So yeah, I had to go back to my mom's house. And when I went back, my room was no longer my room. Bear in mind, I've been gone for literally 24 hours and probably like 5 hours. Like, I've not been gone long. I've come back, everything in my room is gone. My room is completely stripped of everything. My snake, gone. I've come back, and the way the flat was, like, the way it was is you had the front door, one room, dining area, which went into the living room area, and the living room was open space. My room, walked in, looked at the room, room's completely empty. Everything's stripped out of that room. I've turned and I see the dining room area where the table used to be. I see a mattress on the floor that genuinely looks like it's been ran through the fucking bin. Why does it look like it just has stains on it? It looks dirty, it looks like it stinks. Doesn't even have a cover on, it's just a mattress. And I see 2 suitcases. So yeah, told her I'm not sleeping on that. But I was told by my social worker I'm not allowed to talk. So yeah, I had to stay there for a day. But then I told my social worker, I said, I can't stay here. I can't stay here, you need to get me out of here. I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna go to jail. That you need to get me out of here. And I remember arguing with my little sister before, because apparently Taylor, I don't know what was said, and I'm not gonna try to repeat it because I don't know if it was the truth or not the truth. All I know was I was alone, and yeah, didn't matter. It was fucked. So yeah. And then now this is when we go to social services. So obviously I was taken out of school. And obviously I was just in that room. But obviously this next episode will go into me going into my first foster care, the first foster care home, the second foster care home, the third foster care home, the fucked up shit that happened, the court case that I had to go against, well, it was me and Tower Hamlets against my biological mom. It's fucked. Wait, let me see if... Nah, the documents are too far away, I can't be bothered. But I have basically a pile of documents from the court hearing, and it's ridiculous. Like, I have the psychologist's analysis of my biological mom, I have the notes from the social workers and the meetings and the court proceedings, so much of it. It's fucked. But yeah, so that's how I ended up putting myself in foster care. But boy, that was a roller coaster. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna come away from that because I need to keep this nice and short. So we're gonna keep it on the 40 minutes, 42 minute mark. But yeah, even with all these things that have happened to me, guys, like, even though I was very angry, even though I was aggressive, even though like it's very difficult for me to see the way out, I somehow knew the way out. And even when things feel hard and difficult and you think there's not a way out, there is. It's because you're so zoomed in that you can't see the bigger picture. And it happens in my entire life, like throughout the different stages in my life, and I've always identified it. So anytime you feel like shit is fucked and you're done, or like, don't get me wrong, I've also had thoughts of like, not necessarily like I want to myself, like, but I've had thoughts. We've all, like, I think that, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's normal, but like, for someone like me who's gone through what I've gone through, I have thought about, if I walk across the road and I just close my eyes, who knows? But even in all these dark spot, like these situations in my life, I never thought there was never a way out. There was, even if I didn't know there was a way out, I just knew as long as I kept moving forward and I allowed my hunger to get me out of this. And when I say hunger, I'm referring to like my hunger for life, for living, for justice, would get me out. So even in that scenario, or in any scenario like I'm ever in, anytime I feel like I'm too zoomed in, I just need to zoom out. So yeah. But anyways, I hope that you guys all have a lovely weekend. This is going to be posted tomorrow at 5:30. I need to make sure it's edited and ready for you guys. And then I'm going to get everything on Spotify as well. It's just hard to convert some of the stuff, so I need to just do that. But I'm going to make sure it's done. And then going forwards, I'm going to try to keep it in this mark. Look, it's already going over. But yes, comment, like, subscribe, run up the TikTok, run up the Instagram. Let's go. Like, let's get this moving. But yeah, I appreciate you all, and I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. And yeah, take care and have a great day.